typically, this stage of the game, you're just gonna be trying farming. There's really there's no reason to push this in unless the enemy top laner isn't showing. Which if the enemy top laner isn't showing, then I can actually push up some because my minion advantage, and I'll get level 2 on him. And this is when you just MIA. But typically around this part, you just want to kind of be trying to get level 2 before them. Blame me for missing a minion. And this can cause an early dominance and can easily win your lane. So if you do get level 2 before them and you're able to just try to last it like this, you notice that the minion wave is kind of stacked. Now I did this wrong. I could have just shoved it in if I actually was using my abilities, which is something to take note of. If you shove the minion wave in this early and he's still level 1, he's gonna have to let the minions hit the turret. And since it's still early in the game, the turret will give you resistance to hitting turret as a champion. So you hit it real quick. Little blues or no damage is gonna happen because I got everything disabled. There's another flame, but you hit it, little blue circle, you can't do any damage to it early on. The only turret that can take a lot of damage is bot turret, and it should be 5 minutes, and then after 5 minutes you can actually hit it and do full damage. So that's something that you need to try to do early on, as it can help you get a lane priority. Now at this stage, let's say he's behind. Let's say supposedly this guy counters me. Let's put me on the other end. This minion stack right here, he can push all he wants. He needs to slowly keep this pushing, but he doesn't want to just shove it in. If you shove this wave in, you can freeze it right here permanently. And in the meantime, when all that was pushed in, I could have, been coming down. I could be going for a ward instead of warding here. If by the way, I'm on this side, so it'd be a little different for the other one. But instead of warding here, I could ward right here, make sure they don't take scuttle, and then I could rotate down to help my jungle if need be. And in that time, this would have got pushed back in. But that's after I shoved it in and had the priority of the level 2 advantage to his level 1. Now, for freezing minion waves, which I'm going to use some abilities real quick just to trim this. But typically a wave like this, it's going to be pretty hard to keep this frozen. Now, the trick to freezing, killed a little bit too many minions. Alright, this is freezable. Now, I did kill one too many mages. The typical best way to freeze is to have 4 mage minions. Now, even if he was sitting here, hitting them, this is gonna freeze. All I gotta do is, if he kills a minion, I just need to kill the minion as soon as he kills the minion. Best times to freeze is whenever you're landing against someone who might be stronger than you, and you feel like, oh, he is a counter pick to me, and I can't be pushing up to try to fight him. Or if you're top lane, for example, how we are, if the person you are laning against maybe doesn't have TP and you force them back, this is a great way to get a distinct advantage in your lane. The disadvantage of doing this is sometimes the enemy jungle, if they're decent, if they want to help out their teammate, he could come in, try to help push, or this could just set you up for a dive depending on who the jungler is, and if they... Wow, I'm missing so many minions. But if the enemy jungle could gank you, maybe it's a Elise, maybe the mid laner is a Fizz, they could potentially just come top and kill you free. So you do need to take note of that. So if you're 0-3 and they're 4-1, maybe you gotta bet somewhere else, or you're not doing as good as you normally do, having one of those games, then freezing could help you, but at the same time, it could go a lot worse. Because that, here, we'll watch all these minions hit this turret, just to give you a good representative of all the damage. And a good thing about freezing and pushing it like that is, well, it does extra damage to the turret. I just did damage to the turret with a lot of minions without physically having to go up to hit the turret and to possibly risk myself dying from a gank. So some of the disadvantages of doing this, like I said, you have that chance of getting tower dived, and you put yourself in one of those weird situations. Like if you don't have someone like Rise, someone with wave clear, it could really hurt yourself in a way where let's say I'm freezing this huge wave, but he's also in lane. Now it may be early in the game, he might be even with me. Instead of him walking up to push, him in the jungle rotate to invade or go mid. And it puts you in one of those weird circumstances where if you don't have wave clear, it's going to be really, really hard to clear the minions. So you really need to evaluate, can I clear the wave faster? Do I have, TP? Maybe you could just clear it all, then TP in if they ward, depending if they, if they gank mid. But this also can give the laner priority to rotate and to move, which would be very bad. So the main reason why you want to do mages over melee minions, because the melee minions are a little dumb, and sometimes when you get in this area, sometimes the minion wave will freeze right here, and mages be here, and then for some reason a melee will just walk all the way to the back line, just die to tower. And that's personally why I recommend mages, well, using 4 mages. Another thing that's also good about using the mages, if you're not sold on that idea, is the fact that if you hit me and I have 5 mages, those mages are gonna definitely hit. The DPS, if you pick out the minions, is like these melee minions, they have to walk up to them and then hit. I get they have, 1.25 attack speed, but these mage minions got 39 attack damage. They're always hitting. They are a little bit slower, but it's guaranteed hit. So if you're sitting there, you're fighting someone, and maybe you got a minion wave about the same size as that, take a note of your movement speed, their movement speed, because if they go in and they hit you, you can easily win a trade after freezing just by simply autoing the enemy champion and trying to get that extra damage on him. Because if he just walks up, hits you, all those minions are going to hit him and attack him, and just go for some extra damage. That will give you that opportunity to be able to freeze again, and will give you the chance of being able to push him out of lane. He might have to reset. Also, another good perk about freezing and freezing the wave and have a 2 minion wave stacking and pushing it is, enemy jungles aren't really going to gank that. That's a lot of minions, and a lot of jungles that I've played against that have tried ganking me when I've had such huge minion wave, I've actually double killed so early on, and it's something that you can easily just abuse, and it can really, I won't necessarily say it could win you or lose you the game, but it definitely can help you improve on your laning phase. And like I said, this is everything you could take into consideration with wave clearing and freezing and pushing. I'm gonna toggle them quick. Other things you got to take into consideration, like I'm using Rise. So Rise, he's got his E. He does have, pretty good wave clear, but freezing with someone like Shin, it could be harder to do early. But then again, he does have that R to rotate, but it also can really be dangerous for him if he was to freeze. Everything about top lane freezing is pretty much the same for bot lane. Mid lane is a little different. Mid lane, you want to try to push as fast as you can. You want to constantly keep it pushed in, but there is a freezing tactic you can use. If you're just spawning in and you're doing your level 1, you typically want to push in earlier, depending on who they are. Because if it's like an assassin, if it's someone who struggles just as much as Shin, they're not going to be able to defend that wave as easy as, maybe a Malzahar or an Ari. Um, I'm gonna go over in other videos, different types of champions for wave clearing,